Well, I've been in Austin for a while. I'm a musician in town. I play with a band called the Gospel Silvertones, and I'm a veteran. I've done 6 years in the Navy.
Um, Before you went, I'm homeless. To hang out here at the library, use the Wi-Fi, the charging, and the warmth sometimes.
Former nurse, former nurse's aide, former gang member, former prisoner convict, homeless by chance and not by choice, and unemployable because of a terminal illness. It's that's basically me.
I think that's another thing I didn't realize before working here is that, you know, unfortunately, if you're walking by maybe someone experiencing homelessness, it's like, oh, look away, or, there's just these like things that our society does now. It's like, look away or just walk a different direction.
Yeah, the reason why I came to the library, I'm a master's of social work student at Texas State University, and it's basically an internship. We interviewed at a couple of different places, and then it's kind of like you choose which one you want to do. And I was excited about this.
This program is part of the My Library Keeps Me Healthy grant-funded program that started in the Austin Public Library a year ago.
When you look up a resource, it might have something we offer this service and that service and that service to these people, and you think, okay, great, it's okay, here you go. So you write down the number and send them on their way and the address. But I learned that it says, okay, we offer these resources to people. Well, maybe they're only being offered to men, and that wasn't specified in the website. Or maybe they offer those resources to men, and it specifies that, but people have to be in case management in order to receive access to those services. So it's not, there's a little bit of digging where you need to call and verify and make sure, okay, here's this person's full situation, can they be helped or get services with you?
It brings a face to our resources. I mean, I think right now when we deal with the homeless population, the only resource we give them is pamphlets, or we tell them to call 211 and they could provide service. Well, they don't have phones, how are they going to call 211? So what Mary Bell does is she's here to provide a service and provide the resources here, and someone they could talk to, someone they could trust and communicate and know that someone's actually working for them.
Resources, I've been just finding out, like here lately, like that there's a lady that sits up front that could help with resources and stuff like that. And then like one of the head security guards was looking into stuff for us too, on the internet, looking for like shelters and stuff like that. They're very helpful. They're very, very helpful. I mean, they help us out. I mean, we don't have to hang out here. They don't have to let us, but they let us.
Not only is it, well, for a lot of people it has a lot of different meanings. For me, it's not just a safe haven to get out of the until it closes. I'm on Wi-Fi, I'm doing resumes. This is the only way prospective employers can reach me because of the Wi-Fi signal here. I can use to call prospective employers and whatever. Knowledge. This is something that should be taken for granted. We're here every day. Why not do something?
What I've seen is people will walk in with all their belongings, 2-3 bags full of clothing, some food, and
Everything.
everything.
That is everything they have.
And sometimes they'll try to come into the library with their blankets, but they're not allowed. And I've seen people leave their belongings outside, but they worry that their belongings will be stolen.
So when somebody really travels with all of their possessions as a matter of course, for them to, it's kind of essentials that they have. They can't carry everything, so maybe a woman could have a box of tampons or pads that she keeps under the sink in her bathroom. Well, that is just more stuff to carry around. First of all, it's expensive, And second of all, to buy a box that's just more you have to carry around, that's more stuff that may get stolen. And it's just, you know, through this whole process, what I've learned the most is the entry point is not the same for everybody.
I've seen that it only takes a couple weeks to get a mental disability from not sleeping. You can be a very functioning person but have had a crisis that knocks you down, knocks you over, and then you've lost your apartment, and then you lose the car, and now you're losing everything else.
Well, I never realized, like, I thought homeless, like, didn't really mean that much, but, like, they don't sleep, they don't eat, so it affects their mental health, which I never, like, saw beyond that. So that was, like, really something that I learned, and I'm learning to cope with the people that come in here and realize, oh, okay, they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, so there's probably a lot of stuff that's going on. And me as a human being, I go home and I go to my bed, I get to sleep, and sometimes my arm hurts or my neck hurts, and I'm like, wow, I can't, like, I don't understand how they can just, how they just sleep on the ground in their bodies. And, when we come here to work, sometimes they have the cardboards and they're sleeping in our parking lot with no pillow, no nothing, just on the cardboard. And I'm like, oh my God, I have a bed and I'm sore sometimes. What are they like?
People who don't, have a place are squeezed both ways. I mean, you can buy food without paying sales tax, but you can't store it anywhere. So you really are only going to get as much as you can eat. And then, so yeah, it would behoove a lot of people to reduce the stuff that they have, me included. I got a bag of groceries in my backpack, and that's still too much.
A lot of it is they come here to get out of the inclement weathers. I mean, Austin's, Texas weather is brutal, the heat. When it gets cold, they need somewhere to sleep. They come here to use their computers, and believe it or not, they feel safe here with no insecurity is here. They feel they can come in here and be themselves and not have to worry about being robbed. When they're on the street, they're getting, when they're out there in the street, they're getting robbed, they're getting beat a lot of times. So they feel safe being here, knowing that we have, the resource we have. They know we have cameras here, and they know we have security. But they also know that we respect the fact that they're here, and that they know their boundaries, but that they're also part of we provide safety for everybody who comes to our library and security.
There are people that hang out around, and they're just looking for homeless people to take advantage of. And, they will just take everything that they have or whatever to maybe find something that, they might be able to pawn or whatever, like a cell phone or a charger or and then, whoever's gotten all of their stuff stolen is, got no way to call anybody, no umbrella to keep them out of the rain, and no change of clothes for the next day. And then, they have to start all over. And this is the repeating cycle that keeps people going back into Salvation Army and the Austin Resource Center for the Homeless is, that kind of petty theft, people's addictions, alcoholism. And so it's unfortunate.
I think, so I've done a couple outreach events with other interns where we walk down to areas like the Arch, which is front steps, kind of where we all know where a lot of people experiencing homelessness congregate in a way, like they're over there. And we were talking about that, how sometimes it feels like society just pushes them in a corner and is like, we don't want to see it, just put it over there. And there obviously is a lot of drug activity going on, and it's out there. And so, we were forced to see it and really, think about it. And we were walking back, and we both were just talking about, obviously drug addiction is a really sad thing, and it's like, why are you doing that? But then when you think about it, it's that is so sad that someone has to do that to escape from their reality all the time. You know, we talk about K2 and other drugs and that are really big within the homeless community, and I try to come at it as like, this is their escape, and that's how bad it is, and we have to change that. We can't just, you know, be so angry with them that they're using drugs, because really it's to escape this negative reality.
The unfortunate irony with that is a wonderful question, but for every person that you will interview that will have an even keel, there are 5 more people doing something to make you forget that person. It's like an old adage that I was told as a child. When you do good, no one remembers. When you do bad, no one forgets.
People at the library that are not homeless that enter this specific location and see many people that are homeless is always mixed reactions. We certainly encounter people who have a very negative view of it and are not afraid to vocalize it in earshot of everybody with just complete lack of respect, as if they're subhumans that can't hear them 5 feet away.
Someone makes a really negative comment, and then, you know, the person that that comment is directed at, they just change, you know. It's like they realize what people think of them, and it just is heartbreaking because their demeanor changes, and it's like they shrink inside themselves. And that's why I'd recommend to just be open and remember that, you know, everyone is a human being, and your words matter, and your facial expressions matter, and, you know, people can sense all of that.
I've seen that working with the Challenger newspaper, that we get some new people coming in because they're like, what do? I don't know how to get out of this thing. And they've just realized that they're homeless. And they aren't sleeping, and they actually now look homeless. And they've been staying on their sister-in-law's sofa, and now that's worn out, and they can't stay there, and they can't go back home. Their family is like, well, you haven't gotten a job. And so they're just realizing that they're homeless, and it's hard to function. And so if you're just not getting sleep, we need more shelters with beds. We need day sleeping, because, you know, we want them to all go get jobs, but if you sit in their shoes and you don't have a clean outfit on and you haven't showered that day, you can't act confident. And somebody's looking at you like, hey, you had that shirt on yesterday. Our social stigmas are so strong, and we just need to have more understanding, that recognizing that if we yell at people or tell them to get a job, that's actually making it worse. It means they're going to have more pain to try to self-medicate.
On my first day here, one of the other interns had me, like, you know, we stand up from our table and we greet them and we say good morning and look them in the eye and really engage them. And that, I think about that every day, because really when you look at them, that changes them as well. Like, saying something negative changes them, and saying something positive changes them in a whole nother way. It's like they stand like taller, and they smile. They definitely love to hear you say good morning. Like, that means a lot to them, and that's the easiest thing in the world, you know. I do that to my dog, to my mom. So saying hi or smiling or just anything, that can really change a person and get their spirit going. And if you think that your community, you know, sees you and wants you to succeed, you probably will be in a better place to do that. You know, if you're constantly feeling this negative energy from people, you don't want to, you know, put yourself in a place of trying to get out of it. You're just feeling that negative energy. But with smiling and engaging with someone, that can really change a person's day, you know, or how they go about, you know, getting out of this tough situation. So it has a huge impact.
Yeah. We've had Marcellus come to us, And he was there at, I think, the second workshop we did at the main library. Excuse me. And Marsalis has been writing almost every month since then. And I think he really feels like he gets heard, and he gets validated that he's a human being. And he got an apartment. Maybe he was on the road to doing that already, but I think building one's self-esteem lets you present yourself better on a day-to-day basis, whether you're at a bank teller or checking out a book at the library or purchasing something at the store. Just that you come up holding your chest up a little bit rather than cowering and looking down like I'm just guilty because I'm homeless. It's like we all have our position in life, and we can be moving and in process of changing. So it's been good to see Marsalis grow as a person and to speak up to our group and say what he thinks. He's a veteran, and it's important that we be paying attention to the veteran aspects of homelessness. And what does that mean to our paper to make sure we're covering all the topics that we can?
I even got my health checked here. You know, they have certain days in the city of Austin, they have people come in here, you know, do your check your blood pressure, you know, cholesterol, whatever, you know. So this is a good place to be, you know.
Yes, because if you want to cover as many bases as you possibly can, you have to have as many outlets to do it. Concentrating all your apples in one basket, it's not going to cover a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there on the street corner, but they all have their own story for how they got there and how to get away from it. Making it all just one big basket for one big reason, it's not going to work. So yeah, you need to have as many outlets as you can for people.
Yeah, certainly the Thursday matinee program does provide a sense of community at the movie screenings. Frequently, our regular attendees have fun with each other, they laugh. There's one individual who kind of likes to make wisecracks throughout the screenings, and usually the other people here laugh with him if he's not annoying anybody. And it's a way for them to talk freely and at a volume in our meeting room where they can't out in at the public area where people are reading. So programming events at the library does provide the opportunity for people to socialize more and not just put their face in a book and be quiet.
You know, I think that they're nice, you know. I mean, just like today, you know, Thursday, come in, catch a movie, you know, and that's great, you know. There's, you know, you can't ask for any more than that. You know, I look forward to the Thursday movies, you know. I get to sit back and just, you know, be with a crowd of people, or, you know, whatever, however amount of people that are in here, you know, we're all in here and we're enjoying a good movie, you know, just lay back, kick back, you know. I mean, it kind of beats just sitting back with putting some headphones on and sitting at the computer, but that's okay too. That's a great thing to have available also, you know. You know, you can throw in a DVD right here at the computer instead of, like, if I didn't want to check one out and take it home, I've looked at several here, you know.
Well, if anything, just more services. Hope that we can get funding to continue these kinds of services in the library. When you talk about social workers in the library, people are like, what? But we have found it's an answer to the community. So often this is where homeless people come because there's nowhere else to go. And so this is the library responding to the community and saying, how can we help you? But again, as with most social services, funding is limited, and what I would like to see is just more availability. Wouldn't it be great if we had a resource person who was at each library all through the week? I'm kind of at 3 different libraries, but to just broaden what we have to reach more people.
I think the libraries have been doing a good job. I have seen that this past summer you all added a caseworker to just kind of be available on certain hours, that it's away from the shelter system, it's maybe a little more anonymous, it's just a different, safer environment maybe to get a homeless person initiated into the service programs. And the health screenings is really good because that's so way behind for homeless people. They aren't allowed, there's clinics, but if you gotta wait a long time or they might be mistreated there, they have to wait until a problem gets really bad, and then it costs a lot of money to replace a limb. So it's like, why can't we let them go to more clinics and do prevention? That's being fiscally responsible. It sounds like you're giving them free health care, but it's like, that's where the moral bankruptcy comes in. It's like, we have to get past this thinking that they have to quit drinking and get a job first before we help them, because they're in a fur-lined mousetrap and they can't get out. They're stuck. And until somebody gives them a hand up and helps them, because it's human nature for us to pick ourselves up and stand up and walk back into society if we have the tools. So the library is just full of tools. The library has all the resources, all the books. So I'm excited about any programs that y'all add.
Because I was like, gosh, what are they doing here? Like, they're doing absolutely nothing. But I realized, like, that's not right, because we have plenty of books and they love to come in here and just read. Like, every day we pick up piles of books from where they're sitting down reading, which it's their library too and not just ours. So that made me realize that's good. You know, they should come in and enjoy our libraries, because there's like many libraries that they can enjoy here in Austin.
I think the most important thing to change the public perception in regards to what the library can do is just to be more inclusive. I think if we just embrace our customers and say that they are part of the community and make the library welcoming to everybody, that's the first step towards changing the public perception. And if we don't do that, we perpetuate the stigma of and marginalization of people that are homeless by treating them differently and by treating them as a problem instead of as people that have problems.
So when I came here to Terrazas, it was overwhelming to see how many homeless people were out here. And so I was like, oh gosh, they should find them like a camp or somewhere to live. And Andrew at that moment looked at me like, really? Like, and then, so as time went on, I understood what Andrew was trying to, it made me change my view on homeless, like to have more compassion and how to treat them and how to talk to them. And so that was really awesome experience for me, because now I can understand that I need to have compassion for the homeless.
I really can't answer that, because, you know, a lot of the thinking that I have is outside of the box. You know, when you go to Goodwill, they have their own TDC, Texas workforce. Why couldn't we set up a kiosk here a couple days a week? There are people that are underemployed that are on the street, people that are barely employed on the street, and there are those that they are just getting their documents together, and they're tied to this place for one reason or another, whether it's the proximity of some other place or case manager comes and meets them here or for whatever. So why can't we put something together to help while you have these people here? One of the things that I've noticed that since I've been back in Austin, the homeless are getting a lot younger. I know LifeWorks offers their programs, but if we could come up with something to put these kids back on the right path, then we can stop spending money on them and start spending money on other problems. I don't mean it that way, but housing, things of that nature for these children that are under 25, under 30 for the sake of argument. But it's difficult, you know, and we're losing a generation.
Well, there was this one guy that was homeless. His name was Anthony, and he would come in here every day. And one day he was on the computer, and I went to the computer to see how he was doing. And he goes, "Man, Patricia, I just want to tell you thank you. Like, ever since I've met you, you've been real, like, uplifting for me." He goes, I've got my life together. I got a job. I'm not going to be in the streets anymore. So that was, like, very rewarding for me to just really realize that I was like a cheerleader for him, to, like, just kind of push him a little bit. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. So that story was really really amazing to listen. It made me feel good and go home. I'm like, wow, I was there for someone and they changed their life. So
get past the moral bankruptcy and actually be fiscally responsible, because it can be $17,000 to $35,000 a year per person to ticket them, police them, send them to court, jail, prison, ER visits with the ambulance rides, and hospital stays can be up to $35,000 per person, when to house them is $61 a day in Austin. And then have a caseworker looking over them to help them do those baby steps getting in. So theoretically, we could have less homeless people in the libraries that way, but maybe we'll get one of the shower trucks to pull up a couple times a week in the parking lot of the library, and people can also clean up. That might be a good opportunity. And then they'll blend in even more. That's what I've seen, is when people get housed. I visited my friend at Community First Village. I didn't even recognize him. I've known him from one of the edges of downtown, and he came up to my friend's canvas tent there, and he's rested. He doesn't look like he's in mental torment anymore.
I think one telling sign of what the library means to someone that is homeless is when we're closed for the holidays. This year, Christmas falls on a Sunday, so the library is closed Friday through Monday. And I saw a customer that is homeless reading the sign, and she looked up at me and said, "You're closed for 4 days." And I could tell she was just heartbroken that we weren't going to be here for 4 days, and she'd have nowhere to go for 4 days, and she looked so scared. And that's a common occurrence. Last year on Veterans Day, someone approached me and said, "Oh, you're closed on Veterans Day?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I'm a veteran and I have nowhere to go." So I think that speaks volumes to the value of the library.
If they were just closing, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good. I thought that, that's kind of like part of my Constitution anyway. There shall be a library. So that would be bad. That would be very bad.
You know, honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know what it would be like. It would be weird because probably wouldn't have anywhere to go. I've never even thought about that. That's just, wow. It would be hard. It would be really hard. Oh, I've never thought about that. It'd be really hard.
Catastrophic. There are some people that go there, say for instance, if you're homeless, it's a sanctuary. If you're looking for information, it would be catastrophic. I can't explain it. I can't imagine something like that happening.
It would be very difficult because was the first library that I found when I came to this town. And I know that there are others here, but this is kind of sort of comfortable. You know, I can put all the things that I need to do here. I have people around me, extended family members that I feel comfortable with, I feel, you know, safe with, and they feel safe with me. And, you know, we chop it up and we brainstorm and try to come up with different things. This is for me, it's a focal point in my day. Even if I only come here just to check my emails and be gone. Do out job interviews or whatever. Come in before they close, check the emails, charge a phone, go about my business. So yeah, it would be a whole, not only in my existence, but a lot of other people that are trying to move forward.
One thing I can say is, you know, I enjoy I enjoy all the libraries. I think Austin is doing a great job with the resources that they provide, how the libraries provide for the people that come in here. You know, it's not just a place for sitting back reading, whatever. You can get into some interactive stuff here, and it's a great thing and a great place to be.